The story begins in 1968 when a single mother relocates with her 4 children to her old countryside family home, known as the Marrowbone residence. They have traveled all the way from England in hopes of starting anew. The mother instructs her children to leave behind the horrors of their past and begin creating new memories. She also tells them they must no longer go by the surname Fairbairn. From now on, they will use Marrowbone, which was her maiden name. Her youngest child anxiously asks if he will be able to find them again, but the mother comforts him, promising that no one will disturb them anymore. Soon, the family starts adjusting to their new life, enjoying a sense of freedom since they're in an unfamiliar place where no one knows who they are. During a stroll in the nearby woods, the children come upon a strange rock formation shaped like a skull. It's here that they meet a girl named Allie, who quickly becomes their friend. Over the following months, Allie spends lots of time with the siblings, and it seems the Marrowbone family has finally found peace. But their happiness is short-lived. The mother suddenly becomes seriously ill, and the family lacks the financial means for her treatment. In her final hours, she calls in her eldest son, Jack, and entrusts him with the responsibility of looking after his brothers and sister. She makes him promise not to inform anyone of her death until he turns 21, the legal age to become their guardian. Until then, Jack must keep their mother's death a secret and remain hidden with his siblings. She also reveals a concealed box tucked away in a cupboard. When Jack opens it, he is shocked to discover that she had money stashed away. Moments later, she passes away. Jack gathers his siblings to read their mother's farewell letter, in which she pleads with them to stay united. Jack, the eldest, is followed by Billy, then Jane, and finally the youngest, Sam. Jack asks them to promise they will never be separated. They honor their mother by burying her in the garden and begin living under the radar in the Marrowbone home. One day, while Jane is relaxing in her room, a gunshot breaks her window, and she sees a man with a rifle. Terrified, she screams for Jack. The film jumps forward 6 months, and we learn the family has covered or removed all mirrors in the house due to their fear of a supposed ghost living in the attic. Though they believe the ghost is gone, they aren't taking any risks and keep the mirrors hidden. Jack occasionally tries to check the attic, but experiences crippling headaches each time, forcing him to retreat. Jack is the only one who leaves the house for errands. On one of these trips, he visits a pharmacy to buy medicine for his mother, indicating that they are still hiding her death. He also has a noticeable head injury, the cause of which remains unclear. He then heads to the library where Allie now works. The two are in a romantic relationship. Allie helps Jack pick out books for Sam's homeschooling. However, their conversation is interrupted by the arrival of the town lawyer, Porter. It's clear that Porter has feelings for Allie and is jealous of Jack. He informs Jack that he oversees the Marrowbone property and will be stopping by their home the next day to finalize the estate transfer, which requires their mother's signature. Jack tries to explain that his mother is too sick for visitors and offers to take the documents home to be signed, but Porter insists that the papers must be signed in his presence. He also mentions that the transfer fee is $200. Jack rushes home and informs his siblings. If the lawyer learns their mother is dead, they'll be taken away from each other. Billy suggests they use the money their mother left behind, but Jane resists, calling it cursed. Nevertheless, Jack realizes it's their only option. Since they had previously hidden the box, Billy is sent to retrieve it from a cave on the beach. He finds a knife and the box, then returns home. That night, the siblings open the box and find it full of cash. The brothers are relieved, but Jane remains uneasy, insisting they shouldn't have touched their father's money. The next day, they clean and fix up the house to make it appear normal. Jane practices forging their mother's signature. Jack also goes into their mother's room, but when Sam tries to follow, he's told to stay out. Porter arrives, and Jack gives him an envelope with £200, more valuable than dollars, which Porter gladly accepts. Jack claims his mother is very sick and too embarrassed to be seen. He asks for the papers to take upstairs. Porter reluctantly agrees, but when Jane sees that there are 2 forms to sign instead of 1, she panics. Meanwhile, Porter begins wandering through the house, uncovering a mirror along the way. He then heads upstairs toward their mother's room. Jack urges Jane to hurry. They manage to finish in time, and Porter signs the papers, making the estate officially theirs. Before leaving, he brings up the family's dark past, suggesting he knows more than he's letting on. That night, the siblings celebrate by playing a pirate board game. During the game, Billy throws a die that lands in a different room. Sam goes to check it but becomes scared when a mirror cover falls. He screams that the ghost is back, prompting Jack to hide everyone in their makeshift fortress. Jack climbs up to cover the mirror but peeks through a hole in the ceiling and blacks out. Jack later wakes up inside the fortress. Billy explains he found him unconscious and brought him back. Jane insists the ghost has returned because they used the cursed money. The next morning, Billy climbs to the roof and drops the money box into the attic through the chimney. Elsewhere, Porter offers Allie a ride to work. Though hesitant, she agrees. During the drive, Porter expresses concern about the Marrowbone children. He says they live in isolation and that Sam doesn't attend school. Allie defends them, saying she checks Sam's lessons monthly. Porter then mentions their father and hints at his terrible past. That evening, Jack teaches Sam how to use Morse code with a flashlight to communicate with Allie. It's a joyful moment for both families. The next day, Jack and Allie spend time together on the beach. She asks about his father, and Jack reveals he was a monster who caused them to flee to America. He assures her his father is dead and cannot hurt them anymore. They kiss, unaware that Porter is watching, filled with jealousy. When Jack returns home, Billy confronts him, accusing him of breaking their agreement by sneaking out and seeing Allie. The brothers argue, and Jack becomes suddenly weak. That night, while Jack is bathing, Sam steals his keys and enters their mother's room. He's overwhelmed by nostalgia and misses her deeply. While trying to close the curtains, he slips and a mirror cover falls. He sees the ghostly reflection of his father and screams. Jack wakes up to find his siblings shaken. Jane confirms Sam went into the room and saw their father's ghost. It's revealed that their father followed them from England and tried to kill them. The siblings locked him in the attic and sealed it. Jane suggests they give him a proper burial, but Jack refuses. At the library, Porter tells Allie he's getting transferred and wants her to come with him. She declines, saying she's never seen him that way. Angry, he hands her a case file about the Marrowbones. Inside, she learns that their father, Fairbairn, was a murderer and abuser. Jack testified against him, leading to his imprisonment, but he escaped shortly after. Back home, Jane hears her raccoon making noise in the attic. She tries to feed it through a hole, but something grabs her hand, and the raccoon is pulled away. Meanwhile, Porter is told his transfer is canceled, and he's offered a partnership. But he needs $5,000. In a rage, he finds an article stating that the 10,000-pound Fairbairn stole is still missing. Realizing the siblings may have it, he confronts Jack and demands the money. Jack goes inside to tell the others they're out of options, but Billy decides to act. That night, Billy sneaks onto the roof, lowers himself into the attic, and finds remnants of life. Bones, a water container. He finds the money box, but their father emerges from the shadows. Billy scrambles up the rope, but his father grabs it. Billy cuts himself free and escapes, but the money is lost. The next morning, Jack finds Billy injured. Billy confirms their father is alive and has been surviving on water and rats. Jack collapses and seizes. Jane calms him and insists Allie must be told. They send Allie a Morse code message to meet them. She arrives at the skulls and finds a book titled Our Story. As she reads, Porter enters the house, discovers their mother's corpse, and finds the bricked-up attic. Allie reads how Fairbairn came back and attacked them. Jack tried to confront him alone but failed and was pushed off a cliff. Their father then entered the attic and killed the children. Jack returned, found them dead, and sealed the attic. He wanted to take his own life but heard their voices and saw his siblings alive in his imagination. In the attic, Porter finds the rotting bodies of the 3 siblings. Allie rushes to the house and finds Jack speaking to his imagined siblings. She tries to reach him, but he refuses help. Allie goes to the attic, finds Porter wounded, and faces Fairbairn. Jack, urged on by his imagined siblings, shoots and kills his father. Months later, Allie remains with Jack. A doctor advises medication to suppress his hallucinations, but Allie chooses to let him live with the comforting presence of his siblings. The story ends with Jack smiling as he watches his imagined family playing happily in the field.